Welcome back to the Blissful Athlete, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. I just got finished with an awesome recording with one of my good friends, Dia Patel. She's a 13-year-old amazing being that not only is one of our youngest certified yoga teachers in the Nithyananda Yoga Pratama Vinyasa Krama, but she is manifesting various powers of the third eye, such as blindfold reading, materialization, consciousness over matter. She's also a part of the Nithyananda Gurukul, and she is just an amazing being in general. So I'm excited to bring her on to this channel and introduce her to you to share her stories about these superpowers that she is radiating of the third eye, and thanks to our guru, Bhagavan Sri Nithyananda Paramashivam. So if you're new to the channel, definitely stay tuned for this and subscribe before you go. You're not going to want to miss out on future videos such as this. Welcome back to the Blissful Athlete, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, I'm super excited because I have one of the coolest guests on this channel that I've not yet brought onto the channel. She is the youngest Nithyananda Yoga Acharya that we've ever had. Dia, how old were you actually when you graduated from Nithyananda Yoga teacher training?
I think I was 12.
I didn't know if it was 12 or 13, but we were pretty excited when Prasiddhananda and I had you join in. You were just able to download the knowledge so seamlessly, and it was fun to have you as a part of that training. And I wanted to bring you on today because you are maybe one of the most unique and incredible individuals that is within the Nithyananda Sangha, and you've been connected with Swamiji since such a young age, and today even you're in our e-Gurukul system, and I would love for you to share about that today as well. Before we do that, we'll just start off with the Sadguru Vandanam, and then we'll dive into some questions and really just catch up, because it's been a while since you and I have talked, and I'm just excited to catch up and see how things are going. So before we jump in, we'll start with Sadguru Vandanam. Nithyanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasyadiraksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunorahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Awesome. Welcome everybody to today's session here. I'm speaking with Dia. Dia, today you are how old?
13.
So you're an NYTT graduated Acharya. Can you maybe say a little bit about what your experience was taking NYTT? Your mother was there with you. You learned Kundalini Raju Yoga, Shiva Stamba Yoga, the Pratama Vinyasa Krama. What was your experience like over that 21 day?
I mean, it's definitely a very intense program, but it's just like so raw. And I feel like compared to any other program that I've done, this is the most intimate because I got to live in the Adinam. I got to wake up and go to the temple, and we were like a little batch instead of like hundreds of people. Yeah, and Kundalini Raju is my favorite.
I was gonna ask, what's your favorite? Shiva Stamba or Kundalini Raju? For those that don't know, Kundalini Raju is the yoga on the rope, and Shiva Stamba is the yoga on a pole. And Dia, unfortunately, is choosing the rope yoga as better, which is what my wife was the lead of. But yeah, share a little bit about your experience with Kundalini Raju.
The first time I touched the rope, I was told that it represents the divine feminine, and I was a little unsure because I was like, a robe, what? Yeah, I was like, okay, let's do it. So I went ahead, and the moment I just touched my third eye on the rope, I could feel the energy, and I knew it was true. Just the way we chant the mantras as well, it's it's a literal ritual. It's not like an exercise.
Yeah, it's a beautiful experience. And can you share a little bit about what it was like to learn more about the Pratama Vinyasa Krama? Because I think it's certainly the most powerful yoga sequence on the planet, but it is a complicated one. Can you share a little bit about just what it was like to learn the depths of the PBK and all 108 asanas?
Yes. So we actually received the book as well, the Nithyananda Yoga book with all the asanas, and it was so like great to see that it was so authentic and it was exactly from the agamas. Whereas like my mom does like lots of yoga all the time before, so like I've been to many other yoga sessions, uh, and like I've tried with her like candle yoga and whatever, all that stuff.
Candle yoga.
Yeah, new one. All that stuff. I've tried it, but like it just felt like, oh, you're just trying to get fit because you're bending the body. But when I did the 108 Vinyasa Krama, I felt like Paramashiva was like entering into my being, which I didn't feel with other yogas.
The funnest part of NYTT for so many people is manifesting the Shaktis. I don't know if you remember, but one day there was a session where everybody was blindfolded and everybody was in the yoga hall and everybody had to walk around and maneuver themselves just amongst one another and walk and try and not make contact with other people. And so during that time, everybody's blindfolded. Priscilla and I weren't, though. So we were watching everybody walk around. And then the lead acharya of this session, Ma Mahajaya of the Manifesting Shakti session, she said, or no, it was Ma Dvaitavarjita. She said, okay, everybody find Drita. And I was just standing in the hall, like on the side somewhere. And then everybody had to stop, connect to their third eye, all while blindfolded, and then try and find me. And it was the most incredible thing I've ever seen. Ma Swarantarapriya was on the other side of the hall, and she just stopped for a second, tuned into her third eye, and later she had told me, she just said, Swamiji, tell me where Drita is. Show me where he is. And I remember she just turned, faced me directly, and then started walking towards me. And everybody's kind of walking a little bit slower. But like she eventually gets like right here. And I'm like, you found me, like I'm right here. And it was so cool to see just the power of connecting to Swamiji through third eye. And he literally showed her the direct path towards me. And eventually a few other people had found me as well, but she was the one where it was just like, boom, like direct to me. And you've manifested third eye blindfold reading, right? And you were even doing demonstrations. You were in Dubai. So how did you come across Swamiji? How did you start manifesting blindfold reading in Dubai? How did that all happen?
So my first program was Mahasadashivoham. So that's when I started manifesting powers. And then right before Paramashivoham, like it was like good. I could literally like read letters and stuff. Like before I could just see objects and like make out the colors. The first thing that hit me was colors. Yes. I could always tell the colors like quick. And then it would take me time for the letters and further. I remember my mom got this like matchstick box and she put it in front of my third eye. And she was like, so what is this? And instantly I was like, okay, it's yellow. And usually matchstick boxes, like they don't have flowers or anything on them, right? But these ones, like the logo was like these flowers and like the colors were different. And then like I said that, and then I was like, oh, I can see. I can see.
But today you're in Nithyananda Gurukul, right? I'm assuming you're still working on these Shaktis, you're still practicing these Shaktis because you're registered in Nithyananda Gurukul. Can you tell me a little bit about what your day-to-day schedule is like actually?
So Nithyananda Gurukul is like different. So you could either join with any acharya that fits in your timings. Okay. So yeah, before it was directly Ma Advait. So I've done it with her, and I've been in the sessions with the actual Balasins, like from Bangalore, Adinam, and Gujarat, and all those places. So I've experienced it with her, and it's like literally every power manifestation, we would have like, I remember like 15 minutes in the end, and that's when she would be like, okay, now you can manifest. And like the whole hour, we wouldn't manifest anything. And then in the 15 minutes or like 10 minutes, she'd be like, okay, now you can start. And then I would always think like, okay, this is not enough time. Like, how are we going to manifest? But every time, like, I was like proven wrong. Like many times, even like materializations have happened in literally like minutes. Yeah, but now I'm with Malalo, who's in the UK. So for her, it's a little different. So in her sessions, basically we start with puja, Guru Puja, and Shiva Puja if you're taking the Malinga. And then next we do the 108 Vinyasa Krama. After that, like we just watch powerful cognitions like satsangs of Swamiji or any Apta Pramanas or something like that. And we just we have a discussion as well. And then next we watch like a oneness capsule just to truly connect with Swamiji. After that, we would like start manifesting powers. So I remember recently one of the girls, I had to see through her third eye about like I had to read something from her past that like means a lot to her. Like, I've never seen this girl before. I even like I don't even know her name. So I looked through my third eye and I saw that there's lots and lots of snow, and I saw her like as her younger self and like throwing a snowball at this like other girl. And I was like, okay, this is random, but we'll try. Yeah, and I mean, like, for me, I don't have many, like, expectations when I'm manifesting powers. It's more of, like, Swamiji is going to flow through me, and that's what matters, more than, like, the actual result, which a lot of people look for. So it's all about enjoying it. Always take it lightly. I remember, like, whenever I was stressed, I could have never, like, manifested. When I was like, oh, I can do this, like whatever, it simply happens, yeah. So I was like, okay, let's do this. And I look at Swamiji as like his recent darshan with all the jewelry and everything, and it was like, it's so nice. And then as I'm looking, I see that, and then my Lala's like, okay, now you can share. So I was like, okay, so what I saw was you, in the snow playing, and then she's like, so right now she, I think, lives in the UK, but before she used to live in Canada. I didn't know that. I've never seen her. And then she was like, when she was younger, right outside her house, she loved to just like play in the snow because it was like a snowy area with her sister, who was the other girl. Yeah. And I saw her with like this pinkish jacket, and I told her like, that's what I really saw, like a pink scarf and stuff. And she was like, yeah, that was the one that I always wore. So.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So this is just a typical day for you, but last night you had said that you had a Sanskrit class. Is that connected to e-Gurukul at all as well?
Right now, like, what we're trying to remember is just the chantings, like, of the puja, which I already know, but, like, So that's the staple. That's the one that everyone should know for sure. The rest, obviously, the beginning and the ending prayer, you should know that. Mm. And then the rest is just like up to you. Like if you want to try and chant, like right before the power manifestation, we also play the video of the chanting of the power, right? So that also like I try to like remember, but like I'm not that clear yet. But yeah.
That is so awesome though, to be able to learn the shlokas, to be able to chant the verses where Parama Shiva is speaking on the powers. That is so cool, because I mean, a lot of people think these powers are made up or they're not real, but we're actually giving the pramanas. Nithyananda Gurukul, Swamiji's providing the pramanas of each one of these powers before you're manifesting, and saying like, look, this happens from that space of Advaita, connecting to Paramashiva, connecting to Guru, and these incredible happenings are possible, such as the remote viewing and the materialization. Can you share a story of materialization at all?
In MSS, I think I was actually one of the first people. Yes, that's why like everyone remembers it.
I remember like everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, she's 12 years old. She was able to materialize."
Yeah, I was like that girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yes, in MSS, actually it's really cool to see how like in MSS, like I think only like like 1 or 2 or like max 5 people were able to materialize. And then like in the recent program, Parama Shivam, everyone was manifesting.
Yeah.
It was so cool to see how like Swamiji's initiations, even through the Divya Sharira, are like so much more powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just see it, and it's so cool. So yeah. Anyway, so in MSS, I was sitting, and my mom was like very disappointed in me because I was like that person who would like open my eyes every time it's like meditation time. I would like, I was like that not so disciplined person. Whereas everyone else is like with their back straight and like, and then I was just like, oh yeah. It was like whatever. It was like a play. I think when you go with like that purity in mind, the power manifestation just simply happens. Like when you go with like that like rigidness or like, oh, I have to do this, and you look for the result, I've never seen it happen. Like from my experience. Yeah. So yeah, I was like, oh, and then every time my mom would like kick me with her foot because I was down, and she'd be like, focus. And then we were like with these group of girls, all in the program, and then so yeah, we're all like sitting next to each other, and I had my tablet. I had my black tablet, and yeah, I was looking through the third eye. I was trying to like materialize, and I saw like everyone saw like cubes of like sugar. But I think more than that, the first time that I actually felt like I materialized just with like the experience happening in me was when I materialized. I think it was Chandan and those things. Like that's when I like truly materialized. I felt it.
What made you feel like you felt it? Like, was there just a large quantity? Like you just felt like energy flow through you? What made you like so firm in that belief?
I think it wasn't like what I was looking at materialistically. It was what I felt internally. Like the connection I felt when I materialized like the Chandan or Gandaha, that was like I could truly feel like that fire in me. I could truly feel Swamiji was like radiating through me. So it was like that's why I felt like that was more intense.
So many people, when they learn about these powers and learn that Swamiji's initiating people into radiating these Shaktis, they say, oh, these are siddhis, and that you shouldn't be manifesting these powers, and it's all about ego, and you should be avoiding that because it's a distraction on your path to enlightenment. What would you say from your experience to somebody that approaches you and says these things? How would you respond based off of the Shaktis that you manifest? Do you feel in alignment with what they're saying, or how would you respond?
Not at all, because if this was a siddhi, like it takes years and years, and it takes a lot of discipline and a lot of like your own will. You have to like really push yourself. I don't think I was like that at all. I think it was like just Swamiji, because me personally, like I don't think I bothered that much. I think he was, yeah, like I didn't really, if I'm being brutally honest, like I didn't care as much. But then like I really felt like when I manifested powers, it was like Swamiji. Like I know I couldn't have done that. It's like, okay. Yes, definitely it was Swamiji. And like the Shaktis and Siddhis, like a main like difference is that Shaktis is like, you can truly, it's literally aligned with you and devotion, because like the reason you're manifesting these Shaktis is because of your oneness with your guru, with Swamiji, or with Paramashiva. So it's like there can't be any arrogance or ego there.
Exactly. That's well said. Would you say that makes you powerless though, as well? Like, I mean, if you're giving your power to Swamiji in a sense?
No, I think Swamiji is giving me power. I don't think I have given anything. No, not at all. When you manifest Shaktis, okay, maybe you could have self-doubt, you could have SDHD, but that's just your incompletions. It's nothing that's like making you like really, I would say, powerless. It's just like that initial doubt. That's all.
in your day-to-day life, are you incorporating these? Like, can you maybe speak a little bit on, have you had any scenarios in your day-to-day life where you were like, no, like, use my third eye, connect to Swamiji, I want to manifest this, etc. Do you have any stories like that?
Yeah, lots.
Oh, my whole life's like that.
Yes. I remember when it was sports day, and I used to be really good at shot put, but that one day when I like had to perform, my ball just didn't seem to go that far, you know? And like, so I was like, I would say second place, and this girl was like a little further away. Yeah, was like here. And I knew that my ball was behind. Uh, and I was like, but I want to be first, you know, with my competitive self. So, and there was no wind. There was like absolutely no wind. And none of that like so-called doubt that you would have. And like, there was no scenario. There's no way that that ball would have rolled ahead of her. There was no way. I'm telling you, I was right there. I didn't see anything, and nobody else saw it either. And it was like I felt like I manifested multiple powers because okay, so we all threw the ball, and my ball was like here, and I was second, and hers was here, and I was like, okay, let's try this. So then I looked at my third eye and I was like, Swamiji, could you move my ball forward? I was like, would that happen? You know? I mean, there's nothing to lose, you know? Like, let's give it a try. So I was like, everyone was like trying to like look away, and then I just see through my third eye and I was like, Swamiji, could you just move that ball? And it was within seconds because like I couldn't have like, you know, properly sat in anything. I was standing, I was just looked at the third eye and I was like, Swamiji, just move that ball a little forward. And I saw the ball move. I saw the ball move, and there was no wind, there was nothing. It was a heavy shot put ball, and it moved right forward. And like the magical thing is, it exactly stopped when it crossed her ball. It was beautiful. I was like, that's it. Like, yeah. So I just real, you know. And then like everyone started staring at me because I randomly started laughing in ecstasy, you know. Weirdo. But like that's when I was like, yes, like Shaktis exist and Swamiji is like the one, you know? I literally felt it, and I'm telling you, like it wasn't about getting the first place, but it was about the fact that like Swamiji was there with me even through like little things like this, you know?
Yeah.
So imagine what he's gonna like, he's definitely gonna be there for me for like the harder times if he can be there for me to move a ball, you know?
Exactly. The way I see it, like this visualization, you ever see like a little drop of water that sometimes moves a little bit closer to a bigger puddle of water, and then as soon as it touches, it becomes that whole puddle of water? When you're connecting to Swamiji, we believe ourselves as that little drop of water. And then when you just chant Mahavakya or connect to Swamiji through your third eye, it's like that little drop of you just hits that big puddle of water, and you become that ocean or become that water that is the cosmic consciousness, and that's Swamiji flowing through you connecting to Swamiji that allows that to happen. And like this is to be practiced just in our day-to-day life, even with little scenarios as well, whether it's maybe for somebody like you that's in school still, or even if somebody's at a regular 9-to-5 job, even in their relationships, like these powers can be manifested. You can connect to Paramashiva, to Guru, to Swamiji if you're a devotee of his. And it is a way of empowering you. It's not a way of disempowering you. Yes. You are Paramashiva. Paramashivatva space is not exclusive. Swamiji just said everybody can embrace this space. Yes. Can you speak a little bit about like do you experience or use powers in just like your day-to-day life, or do you connect to third eye or connect to Swamiji just in little scenarios that, you know, maybe you wouldn't necessarily speak on otherwise?
I remember like once I met Swamiji and I got initiated, the level of focus that I had, the level of clarity that I had in each and everything that I did, each and every person that I saw, it was like I could see beyond their body. I could see what they truly are like, you know? Whereas before I was like just another kid in school, doing their thing. But right after like Swamiji's initiation, even though like now that I think about it, it was such a like big change, like for the better in my life. But it happened so naturally that like I never felt it. Like right now I can't think of myself without Swamiji. Definitely, even like from my mom, like in our daily life, we have so much more clarity and so much more like wanting and the will and to do more. Like every day we wake up and we want to watch Swamiji's satsang, or we want to just see Swamiji's like darshan, and it's so like great how his blessings are just like showered like in my mom's business or me in school and me with studies. Like even though studies was never an issue for me, definitely after meeting Swamiji, I got even better than I already was. Like now I can truly, like they say it once and I know it. Like before it was like, okay, like I had to put some effort, but now definitely like I'm working for like a year ahead of me. Like if I'm in year 8 right now, I could say like I could pass the exam for year 9. Like I can say that confidently. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Looking at us now, we're so blessed. So many people see Swamiji on YouTube now, and they've never been with him in person. What was it? It's like, I know. What was it like to be with him in person and see him physically and get a hug from him, get a physical darshan? What was that experience like?
It was like the best feeling. I remember in MSS, like I was probably the only person in the program who had never seen Swamiji in my life. I've never heard of him, and I just went to the program.
Yeah.
I was that one person who didn't know anything. So when I entered, like I was like, even though I was like so lost, because like compared to the Maya Matrix, and you go to the Adinam, it's like a whole like 360 degrees change. So
Yeah.
when I even in like the Adinavasis, I saw so much like power, and like something was like making them do more than like their capacity could do it over here. Like they were like so enthusiastic about everything. And then I remember I was waiting for darshan in Inner Awakening. I was waiting to meet Swamiji, and I walked in and I saw Matattva Priya there, and I saw Swamiji there, and I was like, okay, let's do this. And I walked slowly and like a little shy, I don't know. And I was like scared. I was like, I was like kind of nervous. I don't know. Like I was like, do I deserve to see him? Like it was like that feeling. And then like I walked past and I just like kneeled down, and it was like he put his hand on my third eye. And then I was like, oh, great. And I was like, so happy already. Like I was never the person who would like want more or like stand right in front of Swamiji, to like get more. I was never that person. I was always that person like, yay, like just excited, doing my own thing. So I went ahead and he started initiating me, and I remember he started saying something in Tamil. I don't know. I don't understand Tamil, so I don't know what he said. But he started talking to Sandeshwara Maharaj, and he started like saying it with a really loud tone, and he was like kind of like shouting, like maybe they made a mistake or something. I don't know. I'm not sure. And then I was like, and I don't know what happened, but he just kept his thumb on my third eye, and it was like for 5 minutes straight. And he kept like, he was looking there, but his thumb was here. And I'm telling you, even his thumb has so much power. Like I'm not even kidding. Like he was like, it was like right there. And I was like, okay, what should I do? And I was like super scared. I was like, did I do something wrong? Is that why he's shouting? I don't know. And then but even when he was shouting, I didn't find him like aggressive or anything. And then he looked right back at me, and he started laughing like so loud. and then I was like, he's like, and then he was like, okay, Kanya, or something like that. And then I just went, and it felt so good. Like I'm telling you, the smile that he gave, even though it was like for just like 5 seconds or something, I can like think of it every day. Like it's a beautiful feeling. It's like beyond anything else. And then everyone got like jealous. Everyone was like, hey, why did you get like Swamiji's touch for longer?
That's the thing. People don't if you've never been to a program, they might not realize that there's long lines, and that when you get Swamiji's darshan, you kneel down, you put your hands up to receive the energy. He either puts his hand or his thumb on your third eye, or sometimes he'll do a healing as well, put the hand on the top of the head. But it's really quick. It's not like you're there for a minute or so. It's a matter of a few seconds, depending on whatever. And so if you're sitting there and you get to kneel down and he has his thumb on your forehead, on your third eye for minutes, that's not normal. That does not happen. So that is such a blessing to receive. And a lot of people, like, they'll get hugs sometimes, and other people are like, why did you get a hug? But it's just such a blessing to receive that. And him saying, okay, Kana, like, you're his daughter. He's taking care of you. And
even though, like, I didn't find him as Paramashiva at that time, I knew he had something different than everybody else in, like, the whole program. He radiated, like, that different X factor that nobody else had in the program. Like, I could just tell, even though it was brand new, I could just tell he was, like, the one, Not just because of the lightings are on him or anything like that. It was just, like, even though he, like, was on, like, a big, like, throne and everything, he was so, like, simple. Like, he was so down to earth, and I could tell, even, like, the first darshan I had, and it was only a few seconds. Like, that time I only had him for, like, he only touched me and then I just went. But even, like, that one, like, glimpse of him was, like, so, like, great. It was the best.
Awesome. What was your favorite experience of Mahasashiva?
I don't know. Okay, maybe just the fact that, like, waking up at, like, 3 a.m., that was a big deal. That was, like...
Not something you do normally, right?
Like, now, like, it's not a big deal. But back in the day, if somebody told me I had to wake up at 2 a.m. and like drink haritaki and do, like, the neti, I would have, like... No! I was like, are you dead? Like, no way! Like, I was never a sleeper, but, like, even for someone who wakes up at 6 a.m., telling them to wake up, like, at 3 is, like, next level, like, over here. So definitely after the darshans, it would be the fact that my lifestyle changed. The whole, like, the change of, like... And even though we were getting just, like, 3 hours of sleep, it was so rejuvenating. That was definitely something that I was, like, shocked about, because we're always taught, we should have at least 8 hours of sleep or 7 hours of sleep here. But then with only 3 hours of sleep, you're doing so much,
Yeah.
And it's not like it was, like, completely perfect and I was, like, all okay, but that was the process. Like, definitely the process of me, like, waking up so early, like, wearing a sari, and just, like, adapting a Hindu lifestyle, that was definitely the key. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, because every morning you would wake up and the first thing is you're doing your kriyas, and then you come and you guys would normally jump into yoga, and then after yoga you were initiated into practicing puja. Can you speak a little bit on what your experience of puja is like? There's been a lot of Atmalinga initiations recently. And so maybe you could just share your experience with that.
I got my initiation into puja in Mahasashivoham. And actually, I didn't want to get it because I was a non-vegetarian. Now that was, like, next level. But before, back in the day, I was, like, I used to eat meat. I always, like, used to, like, consume yeast and stuff. And at that time, you weren't supposed to. So it was, like, definitely, and my mom wanted to go. Like, she was, like, the first person in the line, It was always, like, my mom was always there, and I was, like, behind. I don't know why.
Hey, Mom.
I don't know, but you just jump right through, and I was, like, I don't know. So, like, but then I saw these two twins, actually, Jade and Jasmine, and they were, like, my friends, and they're from America, and they don't know anything about Hinduism. They've never met Swamiji before. They're completely new. But they wanted to take the initiation. And I was like, why can't I? As a born Hindu, can I not do this? You know, like, and I looked at Swamiji after, like, I saw them in the line. I looked at Swamiji, and then I was like, okay, like, you know, what's the worst that's gonna happen? So, like, and after my Nana's talk, I was like, okay, I can do this. And now, like, many years in, like, I've never looked back at eating meat or anything. I've never even thought of it. Definitely, like, never. I felt like it was just like such a like intense cleanse that like now it's completely gone from like my muscle memory and stuff. So that's how I got initiated. And then in Mahasashi Voham, we started performing puja. And I remember Swamiji like started chanting the Gayatri mantra to initiate us. And I was born a Hindu, so like obviously I've always heard my parents, and they're like big devotees of Shiva, so I've always heard them chanting mantras. So it was like kind of like in my being already, but it was just like kind of hidden, you know, which Swamiji completely took out, like, and it's like now it's projected to the world. But like before it was just kind of there, but like not there, just like that. So we started chanting, and like I could feel like every time Swamiji chanted the mantra and we repeated, it was like a vibrating space. It was so intense. That was when I was like, yeah, like, you know, this thing matters. That's when I felt it. Because, you know, everyone's like, oh, but logically that doesn't make sense. Or like, but it's all about experience, you know? And I could experience it there, and I'm experiencing it now. And it's like, it's so great. Even Sanskrit, when you chant mantras in Sanskrit, or like you offer like flowers or something, it's literally like you're inviting Swamiji to your home or something. And why wouldn't you want that? Why wouldn't you want Paramashiva at your house, you know? But think great. So like I don't know why someone would be like, oh, you shouldn't do puja, or oh, you should eat meat, because I've never like felt like I don't have enough calcium as a vegan, or I don't have enough protein going into my body or anything. No, the only thing it's made me stronger, and puja has just made me more powerful in my space. And yeah, and not even just like when I'm just doing like a diya, when I'm just like doing like a deepa or something, like just like lighting it, it feels so like radiant. And I don't know if you know this, but actually a diya we found, I was like, my mom was reading a book and she told me that the ghee is your lust, and the deepa cotton is actually your ego. So as the fire is burning it, your ego and your lust is like going away.
That's so awesome that you have that teaching, and you've learned that.
Yeah.
So with like everything that you've gained from Swamiji and just the experiences you've had with yoga, the powers, the space that you have today, what are you doing moving forward right now? You're still in school. You're in grade 8, you said, and you're in Gurukul. What are your plans? What do you have in store for yourself?
Actually, now I'm gonna do online schooling from the next term, just because I feel like school in like brick and mortar school is very restricting, in the sense like I live in Dubai. Now Dubai is a great country. It's filled with like other cultures, and it's like an international world. I see everyone from all around the world. But in schools, the thing is like, for example, every year we would have like an Islamic assembly. And you have to do it because you're living in that country, you know? You have to like respect the people and things. So yeah. And then I remember like this year in year 8, when they were performing the Islamic assembly, I was like, I'm not meant to be here, you know? I could just feel it like I'm not, like, this is not for me. Like the school that I was going to is like, it's just like not meant to be for me, because a lot of times, you know, people are always talking about like their powerless space, or like they're very negative about like so many things, and like suddenly I don't know why depression is a trend and everyone wants to be depressed, and like it's annoying. It is. I don't know, like just this generation, like overall, They're all just trying to like, bunk school, and it's just like a mess. And like, to be honest, if you're bunking school, clearly you're not enjoying school, right? So why are you going to that same place every single day when you hate it, when you don't learn anything? All it does is demotivates you. What's the point? Just like think about it. Like, try something else, which is why like I'm trying online schooling, because it's a lot more flexible. And even though like you learn math, English, science, you get a lot more time to like do other things, and that's just gonna like give me a better idea of like I can like go to Sanskrit classes. I could do eat Gurukul a bit better. It's less hectic. I can perform yoga and the Shuddha Kriyas, and I don't have to like rush to the bus and not be in that ecosystem of just like sadness.
Okay, that's awesome. As we wrap this up, is there anything else that we maybe didn't cover that you're hoping to talk about today, or that you wanted to share? For those that are new to the channel or don't know Dia, she also has a YouTube channel, and I'll make sure to put that link in the description below so you can check out more of her content. But is there anything else you wanted to share before we close this out?
Yeah, like if you know me as a person, you would like think like I'm a very non-violent, calm, like I'm an extrovert, and I'm just like a person like that. But like whenever I tell somebody I'm a black belt in karate, everyone just goes, what? Because they wouldn't expect it from a person like me. So definitely, like even when I used to do karate before like meeting Swamiji and stuff, I was like just there to like fight and win the game, and that was like the whole point of it. But after I met Swamiji, like I got so much more clarity in like even like karate, like even though it's like for a physical fight, it's more of just like self-defense and like that discipline, and also that clarity. Again, that clarity that I got even for something like karate is so like intense, and so great that Swamiji's like gifted me with. Like during the recent program Parameshvoham, he said, I want all of my female disciples to be performing ferocious performing ferocious things such as martial arts. And I was so proud. I was like, yeah, that's me.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here and sharing your story. And I just mentioned that you do have a YouTube channel. Is there anything in particular that you're sharing on that?
It's all about a life as a Hindu. It's all about Sanatana Hindu Dharma, significance of, for example, Pasma, or the tilak that we put, the science behind it, or just the authentic yoga. Yeah, all about the Hindu lifestyle.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, as I said, I'll make sure to put the link in the description so people can follow you there if they would like to. And yeah, thank you so much for being here and sharing your story and letting the world know a little bit more about yourself and the empowering connection that is a result of being a devotee disciple of Swamiji and connecting to Paramashiva. You've always radiated such an incredible space ever since I met you in India, and so I'm so glad that we had this chance to catch up and talk as well. So thank you very much for being here. We'll close this out with the Puna mantra, and then we'll let you go, and hopefully everybody enjoyed. Before everybody else leaves, please remember to subscribe and leave us a comment down below. And if you have any questions or anything, we'd be more than happy to answer those. With that, we'll close with Puna mantra. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyade. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Sarvam Bhagavat Sri Nithyananda Paramashiva Paduka Paramastu. Om Nithyanandam